Hello friends, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We are back. The weekend is over. Obviously, it's time for us to talk about how Arsenal did, how Arsenal performed over the weekend, our ambitions, and the title race, ladies and gentlemen, is definitely back on. I'm so happy that after 72 hours, Manchester City have capitulated. And I'll use the word capitulated because they did capitulate, right? They capitulated against Nottingham Forest 1-1. Actually, what hurt me over the weekend is how did we fail to get a point against Manchester City? How did we not get a point against them? That is what hurt me, right? Because if you get a point against Man City, they draw against Nottingham Forest. It's a different story. It's a different scripture. We are miles and miles ahead, but that actually won't matter because this week we are on top of the league as we prepare to visit the King Power Stadium against Leicester City. That's a massive game. I'm going to be talking about that. I'm going to be talking about the title race, guys. Are Man United in the title race? Talk to me in the comment section, right? Talk to me in the comment section. Are Manchester United in the title race with us? Because, look, everybody has given them the credit, and I think they deserve it. I don't think anyone would go, oh, Cossy, they don't deserve to be in the conversation. They deserve it. They've done a couple of wins. They've done very, very well in their last 10 games or so. They have Marcus Rashford on fire. They're having Sabitzer on fire. They're having a couple of players doing very, very well. And they have actually been able to capitalize on that period where Arsenal were crumbling. Because, look, if Arsenal didn't crumble, we would be miles away from Manchester United. But we've been able to draw them close, and now they can dream. They're 5 points behind us, potentially 8 if we can win against Everton, and they're also 3 points behind Manchester City. Manchester City that are putting all sorts of pressure on Arsenal. So the question in the comment section, guys. We are not favorites, right? We are not favorites to win the Premier League. That's okay. But can we see the last 15 games through? Are they 15 games, right? Can we see them through? Can we go? I don't know. It's not being unbeaten because I know we will lose a couple of games along the way. We will drop points along the way. But can we be the better side for the rest of the season? Do you think it is in us? Do you think we have it inside us as Arsenal that we can be the better side for the rest of the Premier League season? Because that is all we need to do to win the league. All we need to do is beat Leicester City next weekend. Then we have to beat, as a must, we have to beat Everton next week still. And you do that and you go 5 or 8 or 7 points clear of Manchester City, and the title race is absolutely on. Hit the like button for me. Subscribe to the podcast as well. I want to get your thoughts there. I want to really get your thoughts. Can we be the better side? Can we really be the better side? But let's start off by talking about the weekend, because I thought that was a hell of a game, wasn't it? I didn't do a live stream. I don't know how I didn't come live. Probably I was trying to create content for the 90 More podcast, which you guys are actually supporting very well. If you've not watched the 90 More podcast, just type into YouTube Cossy 90 More podcast. You'll find me there. Interesting thoughts, interesting footballing opinions or around football in general. So look, it was an early kickoff. It was less than 72 hours because we played on Wednesday night. So Thursday, Friday, it's 2 days. That's 48 hours. And then we had an early kickoff against Aston Villa. To be honest, I don't understand the mathematics. I don't understand why we would play on a Wednesday and then play on a Saturday early kickoff. Look, you could make it a Saturday late kickoff I understand that is more time to rest, more time to prepare. The Premier League and the FA very well know Arsenal, didn't play that game because of whatever happened to the Queen. It's not even our fault. It's what happened to the Queen, and that's why those games were shifted. But then to give us a game on Wednesday and give us a game on Saturday, early kickoff, that's unfair. I know Mikel didn't actually take it very far, but that is actually unfair. It's really, really, it is really, really unfair, and I didn't like it. So we have this game. I think the spirits were a little bit down. I looked at every player on that pitch, and they had a mistake in them in the first half. Alexander Zinchenko gives away a very, very costly error. And why I think we were not yet back at our level, when Zinchenko gives away that ball, there is a lot of time for Matty Cash to run in midfield and then find a very, very good pass for Ollie Watkins. Jorginho could have closed him down. Odegaard could have closed him down. Xhaka could have closed him down. And Zinchenko as well could have made a spectacular tackle. But we never had that magic in us by then. Ollie Watkins gets the ball. Actually, takes a split second for me. It takes a split second, trying to find, try to control the ball very, very well. And William Saliba still doesn't close him down, okay? I think the last 3 games had affected us very much. The last 3 games had actually, put a hole in our heart. They had put a dent in our ambitions, a very, very big dent. So we got a goal down 5 minutes in, and that is what I like about Arsenal this season. We don't give up, do we? We just don't give up. Like, that game is the true summation of what Arsenal are. I've been watching and listening to TalkSport all weekend, and these lads at TalkSport think Arsenal are not going to win the title because we won a game in the 90s. That is absolute pure shite, absolute shambles. Like, we are not the only team to win a game in the 90s. We are not the only team. Last season, Manchester City beat us 2-1 at the Emirates, first day of the year. You remember that game? Lodri winning it at the death, getting that win from the jaws of defeat. Okay, winning that game from the jaws of defeat. And you know what they said? They said Manchester City deserve to be champions because that is a champion's performance. But when Arsenal won that game, the lads at TalkSport said, Arsenal cannot win the Premier League title. This just proves that Arsenal cannot win the Premier League title because they're going to toe-to-toe with opponents and they're winning games in the 90th minute. How many games have we won comfortably? These lads don't even talk about these games, right? So, look, what I loved about that game, simply, is it was a summation of our season. There are times when we were off, and that was the first 5 minutes of that game. There are times when we conceded goals after playing very well. That is the 31st minute goal of Filippo Coutinho. And there are times when we were absolutely brilliant and everything was working in our favor. That is the second half of that game. What a goal by Alexander Zinchenko. And by the way, Alexander Zinchenko scored his first goal in 92 appearances in the Premier League, Manchester City and Arsenal combined. That is what we call everything going your way. Because look, he pulls that shot, Alexander Zinchenko. It can easily go wide of the post. Even Tony in the Brentford game tried to score the same goal. He was even closer. It goes wide of the post. This time, Alexander Zinchenko, and what a character this guy is, finds the composure, finds the strength, finds the power, and hits that ball with pure precision. It goes into the back of the net. It's game on. Until the 93rd minute, I felt like a goal was coming. I felt like we were going to score. It always felt like Arsenal are on the brink. Arsenal are on the verge of scoring a goal. It felt like that. Odegaard, how do you miss that? Eddie Nketiah, how do you miss that? You know what annoyed me with Eddie Nketiah in that game is his fast touch and his decision making. Odegaard plays that ball into Nketiah, and that ball is coming from the right-hand side. All he has to do is to continue the run to the left-hand side because the Aston Villa is actually coming across. You know what he does? He hits that ball into, on the right. It's over. Martinez closes him down, and he literally cannot do anything there, right? So, but in the second half, we were unplayable. In the second half, we were the real deal. In the second half, we were the real explanation of a quality side. We were absolute quality. And you can go back and watch that game. Look, if someone just saw the highlights, they don't bring out how good Arsenal were. They don't bring out how good we were, especially in the second half. We created an XG of more than 1.8, right, in the second half. Our expected goals were more than 1.8. In the second half, and to be honest, we outscored our XG. It was 2 goals in the second half. So for me, Arsenal, all we've got to do now is, can we make games easier? I think Mikel knows that. He spoke about it. He said, look, if we want to win games, we've got to make it easier. We've got to win when we have to win, like win early in the game. Edin Ketia scores, Odegaard scores, still 4-2, right? Then you don't need a cracker from Jorginho. Then you don't need a last minute goal from Gabriel Martinelli. But putting all aside, Manchester City dropped points. Guys, let's talk about it before we go to Man United. Let's talk about it. What happened to Manchester City? Someone explain. Can someone talk to me? What happened to Manchester City? They were absolutely flying, weren't they? They were absolutely flying. They were doing everything right. I thought they were the better team in that game. To be honest, I don't even want to lie. They were the better team. But then, can someone tell me what happened? What happened to Manchester City? How did they not beat Nottingham Forest? How? I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you my theory. When they won against Arsenal, their mentality was, we are back on top of the league. We now have what belongs to us. Let's focus on the Champions League. And I said it, that whatever happens in that game, it's not the end. It's the beginning. And why it is the beginning is because simply Manchester City are going to think, we are on top of the league. Let's focus on the UEFA Champions League, and that is what happened. They played very well. They were all over. They were all over. Nottingham Forest, just like we were against Brentford. Like, we played, but we couldn't find the cutting edge, wasn't it? And everybody said, "Oh, this is when Arsenal drop." No, it's not that. There are times when you don't find the cutting edge. And I say that Manchester City are going to drop more points. I predicted that they will drop 10 more points until the end of the season. 2 gone. Arsenal are dropping more points as well. But what I'm praying for is that we don't drop more points than Manchester City. Now, what I like about this is that the pressure is on. City, who are title favorites, according to the media, not according to how they are playing for me, are 2 points behind Arsenal. And they're lucky that they can go and win each and every game that remaining in the league. They can go on a 15-game unbeaten run, right? They can go on a 20-game, unbeaten run, winning all games. I don't care. Not this season, though, right? That is not happening this season. They will not go on a 10-game unbeaten run this season. They will drop points, and that's where Arsenal have to capitalize. We capitalized on their losses in the first half of the season. We've got to capitalize on their losses in the second half of the season. So Manchester City have let the pressure get to them, and as an Arsenal fan, there is nothing more I want. That's what I want. We want Manchester City to be under pressure. We want them to be, thinking, do we focus on the UEFA Champions League or do we focus on the Premier League? The next fixture is actually this week, and I'm about to do a prediction for them in the Champions League. The next fixture is against RB Leipzig. That is in the round of 16 in the Champions League. They're away from home. After that, they will comfortably come back and play against Bournemouth on Saturday, a game they are expected to win a game. They will win. Okay, I think they will definitely win. So the problem they're having and the problem they're gonna have is if anything goes wrong in the UEFA Champions League, if anything doesn't go right for them in the UEFA Champions League, they are going to panic. They're already panicking. I looked at Erling Haaland missing a sitter. Bro, it is Edin Ketia to miss those. It is Edin Ketia to miss a goal 2 yards out. It's not Erling Haaland, right? So the pressure is on. We've created the kind of pressure. Can we now benefit from the pressure? Because it's not all about creating the pressure. It's all about when you create the pressure and Manchester City feel it, can you then go on a 5-game run only winning? If we win 5 in a row, Manchester City within those games, let's see, they have Bournemouth next in the Premier League. That is not a game you expect them to draw or draw points, right? And then they will have Newcastle next. Interesting, very, very interesting. After playing Bournemouth, they'll play Newcastle. After that, they'll play Crystal Palace. After that, they'll play West Ham. After that, they'll play Liverpool, Southampton, Leicester, and Brighton, and then Arsenal again. So you look at the number of games they have, and you look at how they're coming in thick and fast. I ultimately believe that Manchester City are dropping more points. And the pressure that we are creating, because the pressure is still on, we are going to win our next game and win our game in hand. I back Arsenal too. And look, if Arsenal don't win that game, they will have disappointed me. But I back ourselves to win against Leicester and win against Everton. Man City, potentially, when we win those games, will potentially be 5 points behind us, right? Yes, we have to play them at the Etihad. Yes, we have to go to the Anfield and play there. And yes, Chelsea will come at home. And yes, we have Newcastle. And yes, we have Brighton. We have those 5 difficult games, 5 difficult fixtures. Of course, you have the likes of Wolverhampton Wanderers in there. You have a few other games in there. But Manchester City do have the same fixtures. There is no easy team that we've finished that Manchester City has. There's no difficult team that we have to play that Manchester City doesn't have to play. So it's going to be the quality. It's going to be the resilience that we saw over the weekend that will push Arsenal over the edge against Manchester City. But as we talk about us to Arsenal, Manchester City, we've got to ask the question, are Manchester United in the title race? I'm going to be getting more of your opinions and more of your thoughts in the comment section, so don't worry, right? Chuck says they are difficult games. Let's not says what? Okay. Didn't actually get that. Let me try to find that. Trying to find that comment for you. All right, I'm going to get back to the comments. I wanted to get some of your comments before we get to Manchester United. But let's discuss Man United, and then we can get to the comment section. So with Man United, I think they are very excited. They are very, very, very excited. And what is exciting them is that they're having a player on form. They're having a player on fire. They're also playing very well. I think Eric Ten Hag has done a very, very big job with this team. But are Manchester United really in the title race? You can't write them off right about now. I mean, you would be stupid to say they're not in the title race when they're 3 points behind Manchester City. If Manchester City are in the title race, then Man United potentially are in the title race. Now, the good thing with these guys is that United don't play a game of football in the Premier League until March, right? Arsenal have 2 more games before Man United can play again. That means we have a chance to add 6 points to the 5 we lead them with. That means by the time Man United play again, which will be at the Anfield, Arsenal could potentially be 11 points clear of Manchester United. That is what you want. That is how you want to put one of your opponents to bed, because we cannot be thinking about 2. It will confuse us. Let's go 11 points clear of Man United, and let's pray they lose or draw against Liverpool. If they can do that, it means the game in hand they will have will be absolutely gone, and we will be on level terms. I don't back them to win at the Anfield when they get back to Premier League action. So I think they are in the title race mathematically. If you do your maths, they are in the title race. And you look at the 3 managers in the title race this season, Erik ten Hag, for me, is one of the reasons as to why I would go Man United are definitely in the title race, right? He's the only reason. Apart from that, I wouldn't say United are in the title race. But Ten Hag, the discipline, the philosophy, and whatever he has done, it's a replica of what's happening at Arsenal, to be honest, right? The way he chased Ronaldo, the way we chased Aubameyang, the way he's chasing Maguire, the way we chased the likes of Socrates Papastopoulos is so similar. But unless I'm wrong, Man United will capitulate. Yeah, Man United will soon capitulate. And the question is why? Number one, they're still playing in so many competitions. Of course, they do put one to bed this weekend against Newcastle, but they are still in the Europa League. And I know, I'm sorry to say this, guys, I watched Barcelona against Cadiz yesterday. Barca cannot play and win against Manchester United. If they win, I'll be so surprised. Big Barca fan I am. Barca won't go past Manchester United at the Old Trafford. So they still have the Europa League, which we still do have, but they're still in the FA Cup, which we are out of. But then also remember, this is a team that is having a very good string of games. If they have 1, right, off, or 2 games off, what's going to happen? They will eventually capitulate. They are so very, very young in their development. I think it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time for them to be, at the level Arsenal are at. I mean, with a lot of respect. Even next season, I don't see Manchester United in the title race. Even next season, I don't see Manchester United in the title race. It's gonna be in the 3rd year, right? Yes, their development could come early, could mature early, but I will be very, very, very surprised. Very, very surprised. I still want to get some of your thoughts here, right? Daniel says Arsenal is back to winning ways. Mark my word, Cossy. And he says Man U is there with us. Arsenal must win the league. Dixon says, hey, Cossy, how are you doing? How are you doing, Dixon? Kenneth says, when will Gabriel Jesus play? With Gabriel Jesus, you've got to give it some time. I mean, that's it, right? You've got to give it some time. He will be back. I think by the end of this month, we'll be just waiting for that day, okay? It's not far away now. All right, Dixon says, I think if they can sustain with the pressure, they are capable of winning the trophy. Adam says, hi, Cossy. It may be true, but for now, I just want to focus on the coming games, especially these 3 games. If we get 100% results from Leicester, Everton, and Bournemouth, you never know. Yeah, I mean, you're right. I think our strategy has been working. It's the same strategy that Erik ten Hag is using at Manchester United. Hit the like button if you've not yet here, right? Go game by game. Let's go game by game. If we can win against Everton, then win against Bournemouth, then win against, win the next game, right? Take it game per game. But I'm going to tell you this. That only works when you have 30 games to go. That only works when you have 20 games to go. Right now, after the next 5 games, Arsenal will be on a countdown. And do you know who is in our countdown? Our last 10 games have Liverpool away. They have Man City away. They have Wolverhampton Wanderers. They have, I think, who do we play on the last day? Do we play Wolves on the last day of the Premier League? They have Nottingham Forest as well. Okay, so we have and Chelsea in there. So there's so many difficult games that we have to play, and the pressure is already on us. That's why I told you the title race has begun. The title race, you cannot win the title without picturing into the pressure. The pressure has to be there. The more we deny that, okay, we go game by game, the title race, we are not even in it, the more we deny the pressure, the more it affects us. We've got to find a way of dealing with the pressure. One way of dealing with the pressure is, winning your games. That is, that's true. You win your games, the pressure subsidizes, right? You create a 5-6 point gap between you and the next, the second team. The pressure subsidizes, right? But we cannot now run away from the pressure. It's on to us. Okay. Agra says Saliba was a bit slow to close up Watkins. Yeah, I realized that. Cities to 2025 says these days Arsenal boys are not pressing to the expected level. No. Yes, we are not. That's true. I say that. I won't take back my words. But we've had, how do I call it? Kind of a slump. We've had a low. We've hit a low. Right? And you need then to bounce back. We need to bounce back. And for us to bounce back, it's not going to be this kind of miraculous way of, oh, Arsenal are back at it again. Oh my God. No. It's not that. We are going to slowly progress back to, our level. Our best players coming back, going back to winning ways. Right. So looks like we're back. Looks like we're back. I had a glitch. I had a power glitch. It happens all the time. Sorry for that. Still want to take some of your comments on on the topic on the title rest. I really feel like I want to do this every single week. I just want to do this every single week. Talk about the title rest. Because I believe we are in it. I mean, anyone who believes we are not in it, that's their own take. But I believe, we are in it. Sorry for that. Sorry, guys. All right. City says, I think we should use Gabriel Martinelli in Edin Nketiah's position because Martinelli is very sharp, deadly, just like Marcus Rashford. Yeah, I get the Marcus Rashford vibes with Gabriel Martinelli always. I get those, Marcus Rashford vibes always with Gabriel Martinelli. I think Mikel needs to be a little bit more brave, and then he needs to stop being, how should I call it? I think very, the ego. He needs to, calm down with his ego. When he selects a player, he doesn't back down, does he? He doesn't really back down. But I really like Gabriel Martinelli because he's so versatile and you can use him in a couple of positions and it still works out. Thomas says, if the coach finds a way to play both Trossard and Martinelli, Arsenal will be explosive going forward, right? Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely do agree with that. Cossy Nketiah is costing us a lot. Why can't Trossard play as a false nine? Look, I think Mikel is trying to find a way of, showing Edin Nketiah that, I gave you a new contract, I trust you, and whatever happens, I'm going to be behind you and I'm going to back you, and whatever happens, you are my guy. But to be honest, I also agree. I kind of feel like, most cases, you've got to change things up. And that's why I like Pep Guardiola a lot. And that's why I respect Pep Guardiola a lot. He shakes things up all the time. He doesn't care, right? He doesn't care whether you are Erling Haaland or you are Kevin De Bruyne. He will leave you out of the Tottenham Hotspur game. He will leave you out of any of the things that we need to change. One of the things we have to work on. Absolutely. It is what it is, to be honest. It is what it is. Okay. Take some of you. Take some few comments as well here. Let's see. Emmanuel says Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka can make the best force. Let Nketiah have some rest. I actually don't think Nketiah needs rest. Nketiah needs to be out of the team because the level at which we are demanding him to be, performing, he's not performing at that level. So he just needs to be out of the team. I've seen people say he needs to be rested ever since the World Cup. Come on, because it's English. There's so many players that have not had a rest in such a very, very long time. Martin Odegaard being one of them. And no one says Odegaard should be rested. But Nketiah shouldn't be rested. Nketiah is just not good enough, to be honest. I mean, facts are facts. Joseph says, talk about Jorginho and his performance. Wow, let's talk about Jorginho. Actually, that's a very, very nice point. That's a very, very nice point. Very, very nice, observation. Let's put some respect on Jorginho. Let's put a lot of respect on that guy's name. Not on the goal, but how many times have we seen a player come in for Thomas Partey and at least they have offered 50% of what Partey offers? Yes, he didn't bring the physicality. He didn't bring those long-range shots that come all the time. He didn't bring the distribution that literally puts Saka into the game all the time. But he was sensational. He was absolutely sensational. And I think he's one of those where Arsenal fans will have to get used to his game to understand how good he is. It's very, very similar to the Martin Odegaard situation. Most of us wanted James Maddison. Why? Maddison is a direct number 10. Maddison is a direct player. He scores the goals, makes the assists, takes the free kicks. Everybody knows what he does. With Martin Odegaard, he does everything there is to do, but in his own way, in his own style. If you don't give him time, if you don't understand him, you're going to say, well, Odegaard is a shit player. Odegaard is not good enough. Odegaard doesn't score every game. Odegaard doesn't create, doesn't assist every weekend. No. You've got to understand them. It's the same with Jorginho. Jorginho is a brilliant player, and I say that he's not world class in my opinion, but in this Arsenal side, he brings a lot. Experience, he brings a lot of pedigree, and brings a lot of comfort. And, he's comfortable on the ball. He's happy to receive in tight spaces and deep areas. And he's happy to progress the ball as well. Not like Thomas Partey, but in his own way. So, look, I think we need Thomas Partey to be back as quickly as possible. That game doesn't mean Partey is now out of the team, but it clearly shows that without Partey, Arsenal can go on, control games like we did in the second half, and even win by a good margin. 4 goals to 2. Nice, look, very, very interesting point there. Thank you so much for bringing it to my attention there. Thank you so much. Daniel says, hello, Cossy. Good afternoon. How can we find a solution to Nketiah? For sure, he's not good enough and very, very wasteful. I think my next video is going to be drop Eddie Nketiah. And I'm going to be explaining exactly how we set up without Eddie Nketiah and without Gabriel Jesus. But for me, Mikel Arteta knows. Mikel Arteta knows. Does he want to tell us that if Nketiah picked up an injury, we would play with 10 men? No, we would play with 11. Leandro Trossard is one of those players, and you remember when I was doing the video about Leandro Trossard, did I do a video about Leandro Trossard? Did I? I think I did. Did I? I think I did. I mean, I don't remember, but I think I did. But one of the key attributes of his game, Leandro Trossard, is you can always play him as a false 9, down to the middle, because he's a clinical finisher, by the way. Very, very clinical. And his runs and movements around that penalty spot would actually allow Saka and Gabriel Martinelli to have a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. You can play Martinelli through the middle, because if you can play Smith Rowe as a false 9, then you can't play Gabriel Martinelli. If the worst goes to the worst, listen, play Fabio Vieira as a false 9. He wouldn't score, but we have seen Riyad Mahrez play there before. We have seen Bernardo Silva play there before for Manchester City. And what is the difference between Martinelli and Riyad Mahrez? What's the difference between Mahrez, Phil Foden, and Gabriel Martinelli? 2 gifted players that love to score, 2 gifted players that will give you a goal when they get into good scoring positions. So for me, the solution to Eddie Nketiah is there. Our manager, Mikel Arteta, just doesn't want to take it. And I'm sorry for being negative. I think he just doesn't want to take it. If he decides as a manager that right now I'm going to take all the chances, I'm going to take all the risks, I think he would be. I think he would find a solution. So a solution to Eddie Nketiah is there. The manager is just adamant. Sorry to say, he's just adamant. He just doesn't want to. It just doesn't want to, to find the solution. City says on the physical games, Cossy, why don't we try a 4-4-2 with Jorginho, Xhaka, Partey, and Odegaard, then Saka and Gabriel Martinelli? Now, one thing we have to know with Mikel Arteta, and we will either love it or hate it about him, he is a manager who loves his playing style, right? And look, most of the time, it is something that, bothers me, right? Because, many managers seem to think that, seem to think that if you have your own playing style, then it shouldn't be interrupted. Like, it shouldn't be changed. It should be unchanged. So, Mikel doesn't want to go, we're playing Manchester City, why don't I play back 3? He doesn't want to do that. What he wants to do is, we are playing Manchester City. I'm going to play my similar style, my usual starting 11. Can I beat them my own way? And time and time again, it doesn't work. That only works if you are at the peak of your powers, right? So I understand what you're talking about. I understand. I've talked about it before, that if Manchester City can respect us and, give us a very, very, very good, respectful 45 minutes at halftime, why don't we respect them in return? Why don't we go, okay, Man City have given us the respect, so we will respect them as well. Or we will actually respect Liverpool, or we will respect any team that's at the same level as us. Because to win the title, again, it's all about those few changes that you always make. They make the difference, in my opinion. Daniel says, Cossy, what's your take on playing Partey, Jorginho, Xhaka, and Odegaard? Look, it depends on the game. It depends on the game. I wouldn't have a problem with it if we are going to do it against Man City. I wouldn't have a problem. I would have a problem with it if we are going to play Bournemouth, Aston Villa, Leicester. Teams that have midfields that we can conquer with one defensive midfielder. You see, when you play with Partey, Jorginho, and Xhaka, you have three players who are going to suck out. Can I call it sucking out? You have three players who are not going to create for you chances. And this Arsenal team feeds off our creativity in midfield. I mean, we can play that way if we have wing backs like Trent Alexander-Arnold and Robertson. Wing backs that can, create those, all types of goal scoring chances, all types of goal scoring opportunities. But other than that, I don't think Xhaka is that creative. I don't think Jorginho is that creative. I don't think Partey is that creative. So we would have so many 0-0s or 1-1s. Like Arsenal wouldn't be creating enough. Actually, what I would prefer is us playing Jorginho or Partey and then Fabio Vieira and then Odegaard. All right? So I want 3 midfielders, 2 creative midfielders. Hey, look, if he decides to go Martinelli up top, Saka as part of the midfield, right, and then replacing Xhaka, I don't have a problem with that. But if we can play with 2 creative midfielders, I don't care if we play with 2 holding midfielders. But I want the creativity because I know this Arsenal side can be really, really deadly when it comes to creating chances. We've just not taken it, right? We've just not taken it up. And we need to be honest. We absolutely need to. Okay. I hope I'm right there. I also hope I'm right. Roland says, good afternoon, Cossy. Please, can you find time to make a video about Florian Balogun? Yes, please, I will. I'm going to make a video about Florian Balogun. Arteta should bring him in for the first half of next season. Give him some minutes and then you'll see him in action. Now, I don't watch the French Ligue 1, but I follow it closely. He's playing for Reims. And he's been absolutely fantastic for them. What is it? 15 goals is it for them only in the French Ligue 1. And what a season he's having. And look, I think I've done a video where I've hinted on Florian Balogun. And I've asked myself, what do we do with him? Do we sell him? Do we keep him? Do we send him back on loan? What do we do? Because this is another William Saliba situation. This is another, difficult situation for us. If you decide to sell him, not the wisest decision. If you keep him, do you then let go of Eddie Nketiah? But for me, being a number 9 and the kind of goals he's scoring, he's better than Eddie Nketiah at finishing. Look, leave alone these runs of Eddie Nketiah in the Carabao Cup, Europa League, leave alone that bullshit. We're talking about playing at a top level. Scoring against PSG, last minute, equalizer for Reims, Florian Balogun. For me, bring him back, replace him with Eddie Nketiah, and Eddie can go to Brighton. It's as simple as that for me. Like I said, for me. Emmanuel says, I trust in all our players, but every match has to go has got its challenges. We have missed this title. We have missed this title for quite a long while. This is our time, guys. Always keep it up. I don't know what Mikel thinks when he thinks about winning the title and bottling it, but I think the easier option is bottling it. So let's win. Let's go for the harder option. The harder option is winning it. Let's go with the harder option, right? Yeah, let's go with the harder option. I wish he can use a 4-4 formation against Everton. Look, Everton, I don't think anyone should be afraid of Everton. Like, if you're a big club. If you're Leeds United, Bournemouth, yeah, you should be scared, you should be concerned. But Arsenal shouldn't be really concerned about Everton. This is why. I think they were lucky. They came in, they looked at how we play, and they got the better of us. But bear in mind, now we have this, we have the picture of what we are going to be against when we play Shondike in our home. That is where they're gonna face it rough as well. Okay, so for me, look, guys, it is what it is. But I just kind of feel like we can get this over the line. We can get this over the line. Don't change. I wouldn't call for a change of formation for Everton. If you change formation for Everton, you'll have to change it every single game. You get what I mean? Like, Everton is one of those teams you have to beat your own way. You have to stay authentic, you have to stay real and beat them. If our strategy is pass the ball through the midfield at a quick pace, distribute it into the wider areas, allow many players into the penalty area, let's do that. And we will beat them. You'll be shocked. No need. If you tell me to change formation or system against Newcastle, I'll grade. You tell me to change system against Brighton, I'll grade. But for Everton, no, not them. Not Everton, not Southampton, not West Ham, not any of those lads. No. Okay, let's see what many of you would say. Many of you are saying here in the chat. Okay. Daniel says, Cossy, I don't like your view, but I'll take Balogun and sell Nketiah for sure and add another striker of the caliber of Vlahovic. Look, I think, you look at what is happening at Manchester City. They have Haaland and they have Alvarez. Just imagine if they added Dusan Vlahovic to that team. You kill Alvarez. So if you bring back Florian Balogun, then you don't sign Vlahovic. Or you don't sign a player at the level of Dusan Vlahovic. Because Gabriel Jesus, apart from the injury, is going to play every single game. Right? So it means Florian Balogun comes in the 70th minute, in the 80th minute. But if you bring in Vlahovic, it means you're either going to play a 4-4-2, right? Or you are going to play Gabriel Jesus for 70 minutes, and the rest of the 20 minutes goes to Dusan Vlahovic. So for me, look, if Mikel Arteta feels like he wants the goals, then he should sign a typical striker like Osimhen. But if he feels like he wants his striking line, a player like Gabriel Jesus to lead the line, then I got no problems with him. Raymond says we need Tommy against Everton. He is physical and faster at distribution. And then you say he makes our center, our counterattacks faster, and Bukayo becomes more serial. I say this, I've already said this, and people say that I don't like Ben White, I don't like Granit Xhaka. For me, I don't have I don't have a problem with any of the Arsenal players. I just have a problem with their performances, and I've already said that. Tomiyasu is far better than Ben White. It's a no-brainer. Anyone can see that. Anyone who doesn't see that, that's their own take. Okay? That's their own take. But in my opinion, Tomiyasu is a far better player than Ben White. And it will hurt me if Tomiyasu eventually leaves the club and Ben White stays. It will be favoritism. It will be, lack of transparency. He's a far better player. Far better player. Roland says, Cossy, we don't need to change formation against Everton, but Nketiah should be on the bench while Martinelli plays as a striker. Trossard on the left. I think we agree. And I'm going to do that video, and it should be out today. drop Eddie Nketiah and play Gabriel Martinelli, or play Leandro Trossard, or play Emil Smith-Rowe, or play Fabio Vieira. There's so many ways we can drop Nketiah and continue playing very, very well. It's as simple as that. And then let's see some of the last comments here. Hannington says, play Tommy, Tierney, and Zinchenko in one game. Look, it could happen, but I kind of feel like it's unnecessary. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I feel it is unnecessary. Zinchenko is a midfielder. Like, he can't play there. Tierney can play at fullback, of course. That's his best position. And Tommy can play at right back. But why play Alexander Zinchenko in midfield if you can have him from midfield, from left back, tacking into midfield? That allows you have an extra player in midfield. I think it's genius from Mikel Arteta, actually. Very, very genius from him. So I wouldn't really agree with that. But nice stream, guys. Of course, we were interrupted by the power, but we completed the stream. Thank you so much. Speak to you in a bit.